Hello everybody. I'm back from vacation, so going back to the normal recap of the day, and therefore we will have a look at my preparation today. So, preparation today was that if we have range long levels, lower pre-market volume edge at 8 o'clock 20, it was 173.53. It also was the yesterday value area high. So you can see this here, the yesterday value area high level, and where we find first acceptance. So this was the first level of interest. Then the second thing is here, short if increasing sell volume into 173.53. So again, this level, so that means if they not able to first either accumulate, so that means fail in accumulation and then breaking down, or even not trying to accumulate, but immediately sell pressure to this level, we will go for the short with the targets 48, 45 if increasing sell volume also continues even to the 173.33 and lower, because this will be then the next lower distribution. Hypo 3 is trend play long if we have a yesterday value area holding. So we're always talking of what happens after the cash open, the initial test like of this virgin test of this area, some kind of open test drive, or even without test and with strength at the higher edge of the pre-market or just at the overnight high, then we will go here also looking here for cheap entry possibilities for the long. And this must be going, of course, away from the intraday POC targets in 173.83, 173.90, and 174.06, or even higher, because this is then a kind of home run trade. Because in the bigger distribution, one can see, if we look here, if we look to this picture here, in the bigger distribution, we see that, no, you don't see here, but when you, in the bigger distribution, we saw here some lower volume node. That means if they can take out the high, this was already tested here by the overnight. You see here the overnight low and overnight high. So that means this area that was tested in the overnight session was already a session where we need to see then continuation of longs, of buying, to see they want to go even higher to the next higher value from the past. How developed in the market? It's shortly said that there was no trade for me because the play already started this hypo 2 with the cash open. So that means I couldn't see a phase of absorption pulling back to POC, see some play entry here, because that happens immediately in the minutes at and after the open. So no coming in there. So trade then anyway reaches a target. That means we go even to the 33 down. That means we made about 20 ticks. You can then think of as the power of selling and switch to, take your profits, right? Take your profits and look what market is doing. Obviously, this was just a pullback, and it could even was possible at this time when you see Delta pulling back again, that this was some collecting again for shorts. Everything could happen because you see sellers coming in here in the Delta. Once they hit the higher area, that means the people who trying to buy at this level were absorbed. Sellers market came in. A second try of selling, and then nobody knows what would have happened when there would be not this catalyst driven by news, because the French numbers normally expected, at least in my economic calendar, was at 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, appeared then at 9 o'clock 14:15 around. So that means this news catalyst drive the market, the course up to the entry level and even higher. That means now we had a catalyst of the bad numbers of the manufacturing PMI and services PMI France. Then also German was weak, another catalyst which even got the second hypo, my hypo number 3, and pushed us up into the levels where I said this is now the areas when we can find acceptance up this distribution, up the overnight high with increasing buying volume, which obviously then appeared here. Then it is possible this can be a trade that's even led to more ticks to the upside. Finally, it really then made, at we end my session, or our session at 11 o'clock, more than 90 ticks was made with the hypo 3 here. But unfortunately, again, this was then a news-driven move up to this area. We didn't find some continuation. We didn't find some value shift. That means it wasn't not not a play for me because I don't have a kind of re-long play. That means a play getting into a long after some kind of trendish imbalanced phase has ejected. So this happens here, so no play for me because I will look here for the hyper 2, and if this has failed, maybe then for the long, because this was Bend to Open test drive. My hyper 2 couldn't be played because it was during the open, and hyper 3 was then also driven again by the catalyst of news. So there was no real cheap incoming from me. So think of it. If you look in here, and you could have, for a pullback, as you see that there was value a little bit built when we get up to this area. See this fresh new value? This was built in this area. When you see that this is developing and you see that the selling find absorbers, that means we cannot take out lower than the 61. We cannot take out this area where we saw the pullback. You can think, of course, getting here in a trade, but this is really technically at this moment because you know a few minutes later, 9:30, there will be another news catalyst, the German numbers, and later then well, even the European numbers. All the numbers were bad, so this means bad for the DAX, for example, for the stock market, for the index, but good, of course, for fresh money for the Bund. And this is then what happened. The catalyst of the bad German numbers, PMI flash numbers, drive the market up again. So, to be honest, there was no play for me. If you're looking in this case here for a re-long play, and speculation of a support buy news, again, maybe if you're speculating for bad numbers of Germany as well, like France before, you could have made out money out of this. All right, this was the market recap of today's Bund session, Monday, the 23rd of September. Thanks for watching. Anton Hopful for Manapa Trading.